If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
Now let's start. Let's start our session, our journey from today onwards. But before starting, now let's start. The first topic, the topic for today, the core concept. So I'm not going to cover the full because I understand today is the first day of the class. So I'm going very slowly, and I feel that my student, they don't know anything about Workday. I'm just considering them as a beginner. Okay, so today I'm going to explain you about the Workday software, how the Workday software look like and how you can log in and something about it. So I'm not going to, so this topic will take today and tomorrow, 2 days. So I will complete this topic in 2 days. So let's start. So let's start with a Workday HCM journey. And before that, I just want to introduce you about Workday HCM. I know most of you have already seen me in the demo. So I have already given a brief introduction about the Workday HCM, but still little bit I want to introduce. So Workday is an ERP. Okay, ERP stand for Enterprise Resource Planning. So every company is using some software to manage their resource. Okay, so even you all are working in some company, right? So you are also using some ERP software. It doesn't matter. It might be a SAP SuccessFactors. It might be an Oracle Fusion. It might be something PeopleSoft or something else. Okay, similar way, Workday is also one of the ERP software. But as per the market analysis, right now, Workday is at the top. Okay, Workday HCM, specifically, I'm talking about the Workday HCM because Workday HCM is little old. Okay, financial part, recently, I think 3 to 4 years back only it came. Okay, so Workday HCM is very, very popular. So Workday is a cloud-based ERP. So those who are from PeopleSoft, they already know. So if any company wants to use a PeopleSoft software, the on-premises software, they need to install the software into their machine. Okay, they need to install the server. They need to set up a hardware and all this thing. Okay, so there's a lot of cost involved, right? But everybody wants to save money, right? Why company wants to spend so much money on the software? So that's the reason the cloud computing came. Okay, cloud computing. So Workday is one of the cloud computing product. Cloud computing product, still these things is required. Still server setup is required. Still like hardware setup is required and everything is required. But here in this case, in Workday case, Workday will install everything. Okay, if any company wants to use a Workday software or Workday application, they just need to subscribe with Workday. Workday will provide a URL and that's it. They just need to configure as per their company policy. They need to configure the software as per their company policy. Okay, so it's very easy to use. Subscription is like a rent. Okay, as I said, like company needs to subscribe with Workday. So subscription is nothing but like a rent. Okay, so rent means I will use the Workday software and every year I will pay Workday some money. Okay, we call it as a subscription fees. Okay, so it depends on the customer if they want to pay half yearly or if they want to pay annually. So both the options is available. Mostly like companies preferring the annual payment. So mostly like Workday will and they pay to Workday on an annual basis, the amount. Okay, and the subscription fees is totally depends on the size of the company. Okay, so currently Amazon company is using Workday. Okay, many companies using. So if in the demo session also I have said, if you want to see what all companies are there in Workday environment, you just go to the workday.com site and there you can see the customer. Okay, so not all, but all the big customers and reputed customers are listed there. Okay, so you can see those company who is actually currently using the Workday environment, Workday application. Okay, so as I said, the subscription amount is completely depends on size of the company. So if I compare Amazon, Okay, if I compare the Amazon company with Netflix, okay, Netflix or Rolls-Royce or anything. Okay, so they are using a Workday. So as I said, if they want to use a Workday application, they just need to subscribe with Workday. Workday will provide a unique URL to all the customer. Okay, it's nothing but a space in the server. The server which Workday is managing, they're providing a little space to that customer. Okay, the unique URL they are providing to every customer. Now, in Amazon, it's a big company where more than 200,000 workers are there. Okay, and if we compare it with Netflix or some other company, we have like 10,000 workers. Okay, so whatever the subscription amount Amazon is paying, that is more than the Netflix. Okay, so it's completely depends on the size of the company, like how many worker inside your company is working and how many workers is going to use the application. Okay, so the amount, the exact amounts, it's not revealed. So it's under the discussion. So when you working on the project management side, then you will discuss with Workday and they will tell you what's actually the amount. Okay, so that's actually the discussion. It's completely discussion with Workday. So the management team and the administrator team will do this task, not you. Right. So whenever you want to log into Workday, it's just a username and password. Okay, so you don't need to install any software and you don't need to do any setup. You just use the URL and put the credential. That's it. Okay, so let me show you. So this is like this. So I have the URL. You can see the username and password. You just need to fill it. That's it. Okay, and you enter into the Workday application, the Workday software. So you can access it from anywhere, whether it's a laptop, desktop, mobile, from anywhere. Okay, you can access this particular application. Right. Okay. So so we will not call it software. So just for your easiness, I use the terminology software, but in Workday terminology, we say it as a tenant. Okay, TENANTS. So now from going forward, we will use the term tenant. So this is a Workday tenant. Okay. So tenant is a unique instance of Workday service. So as I said, only the URL is there. Once the customer subscribe, Workday will provide this unique URL, the tenant, to the customer. Now, customer will hire some resource who will configure Workday as per the internal company policy. Okay, so when customer receive the tenant, that tenant is completely blank. Nothing will be there. So once you log in, you will not find anything. No configuration, nothing. That's a completely blank tenant. Right. So now the company will hire some resource or they will give a contract to some other vendors, the third party vendors, the partner companies. They will take some time, might be 1 year or 6 months, whatever, for the implementation, and they will implement everything for the company. Okay, if Amazon is going to use the software, if Amazon is going to use the Workday application, they will subscribe it. Workday will give the URL. Now Amazon will select a partner company from the market. There are many partner companies like Accenture, IBM. So there's a two term. So let me first explain. I know you have already researched before coming to this class, but those who don't know, let me explain it. There's a two things in Workday environment. Okay, one is the partner company and one is the customer company. Okay, customer company is nothing but like Amazon, those who is using the application. Okay, those who is using the Workday application, like Netflix, like Rolls-Royce, like Amazon. So these all companies are using a Workday application. So they are customer. Okay, partner company is those who are implementing the solution for customers. Okay, so as I said, Amazon will select once receiving a tenant from Workday, the tenant is completely blank. Okay, now the customer company will select some partner. So So there's many partner in the market, like Accenture, like IBM, like Deloitte, like so many, PwC, KPMG, and so many. Okay, so now based on their rating, so they will charge, right? So based on their rating, like whatever the amount they charge, they will give the contract. They will say like, I need 6 months or one year to implement these things. Once everything will be done, that customer will be live in Workday. Okay, that customer will be live, and the worker inside that company is using that tenant. Just give me a second. Okay, so worker inside this company are using the tenant. Okay. So these are the two things, customers and partners. So if you have any confusion, so now like I have give you like what brief you about what actually it means, the customer company and partner company. So your role is going to be a Workday consultant. So see, after the implementation, still customer needs some consultant, okay, who can manage their application. So now the Workday is already live. If we talk about Amazon, under the Amazon company, the Workday is already live, but still we need to hire some resource, okay, who can manage the application and all this thing. Okay, so now here your roles come. So now you can, if you are going to hire as a under the customer company, the Workday consultant, you are going to manage the application. And if you are going to apply for a partner company, you might be involved in the implementation task or a support task, any type of thing. Okay, so it's your wish where actually you are going to work. So both the places, both the area is open for you, the partner company and customer company, you can go anywhere. Okay, but mostly under the partner company, they're asking for a certification. Mostly, I'm not saying always, but mostly if you are going to any partner company like IBM, Accenture, they will ask for certification, the Workday certification. Okay, and if you are going to a customer company, certification is not mandatory. So you can go to any of the customer company without a certification. Even currently, I started my journey from partner, but currently I'm working in a customer company, because obviously customer will pay you more as compared to partners. So that's a real fact. So but yes, so both will have the similar type of work. It's not like that you are going to customer and if you're going to partner, then both the work will be different. It's not like that. Okay, so the concept is same, the configuration is same. Only thing is you should know how to configure, what's the steps involved. Okay, so if everything is same, so it's not later on, it's totally depends on your luck or your wish where you want to apply. Okay, if you're going in partner company, that is also good. If you're going in customer company, that is also very nice. Okay, so as I said, this is all about the tenant. So tenant is a unique instance, and if you want to log in, you just need to use URL and credential. Okay, so is it okay, Datu, if I take a question at the end? So just keep a note, because this session is being recorded. So I will give you enough time. So whatever the questions you have, I will take it at the end. Okay. So as I said, this is how the tenant look like, the username and password. So I hope you have received it from the ZaranTech, and in ZaranTech we are using the SSO. By the way, you don't need to put any username and password. I'm just giving you a general tenant description. So it's look like this and you need to put it. But right now many customers are using the single sign-on. So once you go to their environment, if you go to any company, they will create a single sign-on account. So you don't have to put the password, username and password. You just click it and you will log into the application. Okay, we call it as a SSO, single sign-on. So right now you are not seeing entering a username and password. You just click the URL and that's it. You will enter. If you have the rights, you will enter to the tenant. Now, so you know like how the application, the tenant is look like. Now here we have several types. Okay, and that is very important, because today we are learning about the tenant, the software. So as I said, I will not say software, but since it's a first day, that's fine. But from going forward, we'll say only tenants. So there's a 5 type, not even 5, there's a 4 types of tenant right now. in the market. Okay, and this 4 type of tenant customer use. So let me give a brief introduction about what actually all this tenant means. So the first type of tenant is a production tenant. Okay, we call it as a production tenant. Production tenant is actually contain your customer real data. The production environment also, we can say that. Okay, the production environment. So you all are working in some company, and you all are using some software, some ERP application where you are updating your personal detail, contact information, and all these things. That is the ERP your company is using. Okay, so that where you are updating your detail, that is the production environment, the live environment. Okay, so that we call it as a production tenant, where the customer real data exists. The second type of tenant in the market is a sandbox tenant. Now, what is sandbox tenant? If you are going to work as a Workday consultant, okay, let's suppose you have applied for a job, the Workday consultant, and you are working as a Workday consultant in one of the company. So now I'm not categorizing as partner and customer. You are just going to work as a Workday consultant. Now, obviously, if you are working on any project, you need to do a development. Okay, your task is to do the development, testing, and all this thing. Okay, and obviously you can't do it under production because it's a live environment. It's a live environment where the customer real data exists. Okay, so you need some place where you can do all the configuration, testing, and all these kinds of work. And this is the place. Okay, sandbox. We call it as a sandbox tenant. Sandbox tenant is nothing but a copy of production. Whatever data we have in production, the same data Workday copy to sandbox. And here you can perform your development, testing, and all the activities. Okay, you can't do it under production. You need to first do it under sandbox, test it. If everything is tested, verified, then you can move your project to production. We call it as a migration. Okay, or deployment. Might be many of you have heard this term. Okay, because this is a common terms in every technology. Okay, so we call it as a migration or sandbox. So you will work it. Let's suppose I am working on any configuration. I'll work on the sandbox tenant. I'll take whatever the days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, whatever the time required. I will work on it. Once it's done, I will test it. I'll do the UAT testing and everything. Once everything is done and confirmed by the business, I will move my configuration to production. Now, your live tenant will have your project, whatever the project you are working on. So this is the place. This is for the developer. This is the place where you actually going to work, and we call it as a sandbox tenant. Is nothing but a copy of production. So whatever data you have in production, the similar data we have in the sandbox tenant. Right. Third type of tenant is sandbox preview. Sandbox preview. To understand the sandbox preview, you need to understand the version first. Version, the Workday releases. Okay, again, I'm saying I have already give introduction about the version in the demo. So those who have attended, they already know this, but those who have missed it, don't worry. Let me explain a little bit. Version, see, every software is providing a version every year. Okay, when Workday started in 2006. Okay, in 2006, Workday actually came into the market. So when Workday came, Workday will provide 4 versions a year. Okay, so quarterly you can say that one version. Okay, version 18, version 19, version 20, then next year again 21, 22, 23, 24, and so on. So every year when Workday started, we have 4 versions a year, but later on it's reduced to 2. So currently, if you say, we have 2 versions a year. Okay, 2 versions like every year. The first version mostly it's launched on March, and the second version it launched on September. Okay, so this month actually the 13th of September, we are moving to the next version. Okay, the version 2021 R2. So when Workday started, the version name is in number. As I said, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and so on. But from last year onwards, we are getting a version name as a year. Okay, so as I said, 2 version a year. So first version last year launched on March, that is 2020 R1, release 1. R1 stand for release 1. Then in September 2020 R2. This year we got a version 2021 R1 in March, and as I said, in September 13 onwards we will be moving to 2021 R2. Okay, so every year 2 version a year we are getting, mostly in March and September. Okay, version is nothing but a new features. Okay, those who don't know what is version I'm talking about, version is nothing but a new feature. So if you see a Workday, what we have delivered, what Workday has delivered in 2006, that is completely different than what Workday you are seeing it today. Okay, because time to time Workday is upgrading the software. It's not only about Workday, any application. So whatever the application we have in the market, see, everyone is providing a new version. If we talk about Facebook, if you see the Facebook 10 years back, that is completely different than the Facebook which we are using it today. There's a lot of new features available, right? So time to time, ERP application also, they need to upgrade themselves. Then only customer will use it. So if it's very old technology and old thing, obviously you will not prefer. Okay, we always look into the latest things, right? So version is nothing but a new feature. So if we have, let's suppose currently all customer are in 2021 R1, and as I said, in September 13 we are moving to 2021 R2. So right now all the customer all over the world who is using Workday, they are in same version level, 2021 R1. Okay, earlier if we talk about PeopleSoft and other ERP, the on-premises ERP, earlier it's not happening. Some customer are in old version, some customer are in new version. It's happened. Okay, some customer are in 9.0, some customer are in 9.1, some customer are in 9.2, and so on. But in Workday case, it's never happens. Okay, all customer will be in the same version level. So whether it's like Amazon, whether it's Rolls-Royce, whether it's a 3M, whether it's a whatever customer, Morgan Stanley, and whatever. So all are in same version level, that is 2021 R1. And after 13 September, they all will move to 2021 R2. Okay, so if 2021 R1 will have 10 features, obviously 2021 R2 will have 15 features. So if you compare, 5 new features will be there. I'm just giving an example. So 5 new features will be there. Okay, and that 5 new features will be automatically delivered to all the customer tenant. Okay, so those who are already live also. So the customer who is already live in Workday environment. Okay, so if any new features come, automatically Workday will do the deployment, and they will get already their software will shows the latest application with new features. Okay, customer don't need to do anything. If they want to perform any type of testing, regression testing, usually will say they can do it, but yes, it's automatically deployed to all the customer who is already live, right? So we call it as a releases. So don't confuse, we use the term releases. Okay, so Sandbox preview. Sandbox, now what is the Sandbox preview tenant? Okay, Sandbox preview tenant is also a copy of production. So whatever data you have in production, the same type of data we have in Sandbox preview tenant, but this is mostly used when a new version come. Okay, so as I said, the target date for next version 2021 R2, that is on 13 September. But all the customer will receive the new version features 1 month before. Okay, if it's 13 September, so already all the customer who is already live in Workday, they receive the new feature in their Sandbox preview 1 month before, that is on August, somewhere around August 10th. Okay, why they receive it? Because if they need to perform any type of testing, if they want to see the impact, they need to do the impact analysis, right? So they can perform all the things in the Sandbox preview. This will contain your new version feature. And when on 13 September, when Workday release the feature, they will live into production. So if the testing is done, they will live into the production. Okay, so Sandbox preview is basically used for a version. Whenever the new version come, it deployed first in the Sandbox preview, and once after the testing and everything is done, it will be deployed to production. Okay, it will be by Workday. You don't need to worry about it. So Sandbox preview is for that purpose. And remaining time, so version is coming only twice. Okay, so what you will do with this tenant in other time? So you can use it similar like a Sandbox. Okay, in similar time like April, May, June, so that time we don't have anything, right? So this is also a copy of production. So you can see this is similar like a Sandbox. So you have both the tenant available to build your project. Okay, so both the options is available for you. But during the new releases, yes, this is basically for that purpose. Okay, the Workday will refresh your data with production, and the new version will deliver it here. You need to perform as a company side, as a Workday consultant, you need to perform all the type of testing, impact analysis and everything, whether the new feature is impacting your existing feature or not. Okay, all the thing is done. Once confirmed, then Workday will move it to the production. The new features on the live date, the target date, it will be moving to production. Now, this is one. So right now we have only one implementation tenant. Earlier we have, but right now we have only one implementation. So that's why we say 4 type of tenant we have. So now you are familiar with production, you are familiar with Sandbox, you are familiar with Sandbox preview. Now the 4th type of tenant which we have in the market, that is called a implementation tenant. Okay, implementation tenant. Now what is that implementation tenant? Just give me a second, we'll have some water. Okay, so the 4th type of tenant, as I said, is the implementation tenant. Now what is this implementation used for? See, the drawback of using, you can do your development, as I said, you can do your development in Sandbox, even in Sandbox preview in rest of the year. Okay, but the drawback of this tenant is you have only 7 days time to work on this particular tenant. Okay, 7 days time. What it means? See, our class is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Our class is not on Friday. Why? Because all the Workday tenant from 6 p.m. PST, the Friday 6 p.m. Pacific timing till Saturday 6 a.m. Pacific timing, all the tenant all over the world is down. Okay, so no work on Friday evening till Saturday morning. And if you are in India, for you, it's Saturday morning till Saturday evening due to the time difference. Okay, so in India, it's Saturday morning till evening, and in Pacific timing, in US timing, if we consider Friday evening till Saturday morning, your tenant will be down every Friday because of weekly service updates. Okay, so every Friday, Workday is doing the maintenance activity. Okay, so maintenance activity, if they want to apply some patches, if there's some issues or whatever is there. So every Friday, your tenant, not yours, everyone's tenant, all the customer, your tenant will be down. Okay, so you have, so it's not only maintenance, it's not only like applying the patches and all this thing. Okay, apart from this, Workday is copying a data from production every Friday and putting into the Sandbox. So every Monday when you log in, so when you are working on any customer, every Monday when you log into Sandbox, you can see it's sync with your production. Whatever the latest data we have in production, the similar data we have in the Sandbox or even the Sandbox preview. Okay, similar data we have because it's sync with your production every week. Okay, it's every week, it's happened on Friday. Okay, for all the customer, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Netflix, it doesn't matter. Okay, so now the drawback, as I said, it's not a drawback, but if you are working on any configuration, the projects as a Workday consultant, so as I said, you are going to work under the Sandbox. So you have only 7 days time to work on. Okay, let's suppose you are working on implementing a payroll module for your company, Workday payroll. Okay, so you have only 7 days time to work on your Sandbox tenant, and in that 7 days you need to complete your project, you need to test it, and you need to move it to production. So if you are moving it to production, that's well and good, your project will be there. But let's suppose if you miss that, if you have not missed, if you have not moved your project till before Friday, so what will happen? Whatever work you worked on, everything will be vanished because of the refresh. Because Workday is copying the data, as I said, not only in the weekly service update, not only it's applying the patches and solving any bugs and all this thing. Apart from this, they are refreshing the data also. So they are copying the data from production and they are putting into the Sandbox every week. So if you are working on in some project, some configuration, and if it's not completed, obviously when Friday comes, the Friday evening, you have not moved it, so your things will be vanished. Okay, because again the production data will be copied here. Okay, so in 7 days, within 7 days, you need to complete everything and you need to move your project into production. Then only it will be there. Otherwise, your things will be vanished. Now, why I'm saying drawback? Let's suppose I'm implementing that. So for a small project, that is okay. Okay, if I'm working on any integrations, if I'm working on any data upload or any smaller configuration, business process, security, we'll see that. We'll see everything in detail when we move forward. So if you're doing any small configuration, that is fine. So that is required less than 7 days. Okay, so you can directly work on Sandbox, and after doing the testing, you can move to the production. But think about a scenario when I'm implementing a, let's suppose, a payroll module, or let's suppose I'm implementing a recruitment module for my company, Workday recruitment. Okay, in that case, obviously in 7 days, it's not possible. Okay, we need some at least for 3, 4, or 6 month time. Okay, so in that case, we use a fourth type of tenant. We call it as a implementation tenant. So implementation tenant, so initially when you receive it, when customer receive it, Workday will copy the data of product, copy the data from production into the implementation tenant. You can start your configuration, start your payroll implementation or recruitment implementation in the implementation tenant. Okay, now whatever time you require, whether it's a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 months, whatever, you just keep working on, because you already, one time it's already copied from production. You have the data. Okay, now you can work on the configuration. Let's suppose it will take 4 month time. So once 4 month is completed, once your project is completed, now you can migrate your project from implementation to, so we can't directly migrate to production. You need to migrate to implementation to Sandbox and Sandbox to production. So if you want to do again one more level of testing with real data, you just do it here, and once it's confirmed, you can migrate it to production. Okay, so implementation tenant is refreshed. This will also refresh, but on customer request. Okay, so if customer will raise a request, so we have some different name support portal. So if you are going to work in any of the company, might be this access is with managers and the admin teams, but sometime you also receive this access, name support contact. So that's a tool from where you can raise all the requests. If you want to raise a tenant request or refresh request or whatever. Okay, so that actually a tool where we interact with Workday. Okay, so this is the refresh in this tenant. The implementation tenant is completely on customer request. If I want to refresh a tenant after 4 months, let's suppose, so only after 4 months only Workday will touch this tenant. So in between, Workday will not refresh it. Okay, so whatever the 4 month old data you have, you just have it, do the testing configuration and everything. Once it's done, migrate it to Sandbox, do one more level of testing because it's contain more real data. So do one more level of UAT testing, especially we are doing it here. Okay, user acceptance testing. And once everything is fine, then move your project to production. Okay, so these are the four type of tenant Workday provide. Now, if any customer subscribe with Workday, okay, let's suppose Amazon, So Amazon subscribe with Workday. So by default, all the customer will get this 3 tenant: production, sandbox, and sandbox preview. Okay, this 3 tenant, all the customer will get without any extra cost. Okay, so whatever the subscription amount annually they are paying, it contains the amount for all the 3. Okay, so all the customer will receive this 3 tenant: production, sandbox, and sandbox preview. But implementation tenant is chargeable. Okay, so if any customer want to use the implementation tenant, they need to pay extra penny. Okay, extra amount to Workday. Okay, so they can use any number of implementation tenants. So they can use 1 implementation tenant, or they can use a 10 implementation tenant. It totally depends on them. Okay, so if let's suppose the customer is very rich. Okay, usually I'm saying if customer is very rich, then in 1 implementation tenant, let's say they are implementing payroll. In other implementation tenant, they are implementing recruitment. In other implementation tenant, they are implementing time and absence and whatever. So they can use a multiple implementation tenant. The only thing is, for all the 3 tenant implementation tenant, they need to pay extra cost to Workday. Okay, and as I said, this 3 is default: production, sandbox, and sandbox preview. This 3 is default. Whatever the amount customer is paying to Workday, that includes the cost of all these 3. Okay, now I know you are thinking, so if I am a company and my company is okay, not very rich, so in that case, if I want to implement something, my customer is live. So if my customer want to implement, let's say, recruitment module, then how I will do it? So in that case, what actually customer is doing, they will take the implement. So it's not mandatory that once you have taken the implementation, you have to keep them forever. It's not like that. Okay, so you can take it as per your requirement. So if you want for 3 months, if you want for half yearly, if you want for annually, you can pay only that much amount. Let's suppose I'm a customer and I'm already live in Workday, and I'm not using an implementation tenant. I already have this 3. Okay, so now like I want to implement a recruitment module. So what I will do, I will subscribe for implementation tenant only for, let's suppose my project required 3 months. Okay, or my project requires 6 months. So I will subscribe for implementation tenant only for 6 months. Once my work is done, once the implementation is done, I have tested it and everything, then I will move my data to Sandbox, implementation to Sandbox. I'll do the one more round of testing. From Sandbox, I'll move it to production. So now, whatever the module, let's suppose Workday HCM we are using, apart from this, now my customer is using the recruitment module also, and it's in production. So only single tenant is used for everything. It's not like that. For integration, we are using different. For absence, we are using different. For time tracking, we are using different. Payroll for different. It's not like that. A single tenant will have everything, whatever you are working on. Okay. Only thing is we need to enable that particular area. So if you are currently we are in HCM. Later on, let's suppose if you are working on time tracking. Okay, so time tracking, this tenant, whatever the tenant you have, the same tenant will have the time tracking also. Only thing is we need to enable the functionality. Okay, we have the option there. Mostly the admins will do. So you need to enable that functionality. Okay, so once like 6 months, we have a contract of 6 months for implementation tenant. Once your work is done, it's moved to Sandbox, it's being tested here, it's moved to production. Now I don't need this implementation. So I will, after 6 months, the contract is over and this tenant is gone. Now again, let's suppose after 2 years, now again I have only 3: production, Sandbox, and Sandbox preview. Now after 3 years, again I need to implement other module. Let's suppose time tracking. So I will take again this implementation tenant from Workday just for, let's suppose, 3 months. Okay, just for 3 months, I will take it. I will implement it. If you want to give a contract to some third party, as I said, the partner company, that is also you can give it the contract for implementation. So they can work on the implementation tenant and they will configure your time tracking here. Once everything is done, they move to Sandbox, and from Sandbox, they move it to production. That's it. And after 3 months, the contract is over, the tenant is gone. Okay, so these are the types of tenant which we have in the market. This 3 is by default and implementation is optional. Okay, implementation is optional. So based on, so there's a chargeable for every tenant. So even as I said, if your customer want to use 10 implementation tenant, you can. There's no restriction. You can use it, but for all the 10, customer need to pay the amount. That's it. Okay, so this is all about a tenant, and I already shown you this is how the tenant look like. Okay, so usually when you are going to log in ZaranTech, so not in ZaranTech, many company now using the SSO, so you don't have to fill the username and password. Okay, you just click on the URL and you will directly log into SSO, log into the tenant by an SSO. Okay, so this is all about tenant. So any questions here? Any questions in the tenant side?
Hi Rahul, this is Prabhakar here.
Yes, Prabhakar.
Yeah, where we raise this request to get access for the tenants, the tool name or
Tenant access you have not received from support team, ZaranTech support team?
no, I'm not received yet.
Okay, so yeah, so might be today's our first class. So if you have not received, you just get in touch with ZaranTech, either by a call or a ticket. So you just take an access from them. Okay, so they will help you out. Yeah.
Sure, Rahul. They mentioned that they'll provide after a week because the first week will be theoretical more. So they'll be providing after a week. That's what they
Yeah. So
mentioned.
you need to follow up with them because they will provide a tenant access and the LMS access. So might be today we have started, just follow up with them and they will provide you the access for the tenant. So mostly it's a RDP access, remote desktop. So you just need to log in and just click on the tenant and you can enter it and work on the configuration. So anyone else having any doubt? Otherwise we'll move.
Hi Rahul, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Actually, you said that there are 5 types of tenants, right? So
consider four. Consider 4.
Yeah,
so
exactly. That is the question I have. So if anybody asks a question or in interview or anything, what should we say? Should we say 5 types of tenant or we should say 4?
No, first of all, they will not ask how many types you know, how many types of tenant you know. Okay, and so you say production, sandbox, sandbox preview, and implementation. You don't need to say preview, actually.
So this doesn't count, right?
Yes, it doesn't count. Yeah, so actually Workday has merged this thing. So right now, earlier we have this thing, but right now Workday has merged it into implementation. So when you're going to work for a customer, there is only implementation.
No problem. Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
But yes, when you go for interview, they will check your knowledge, how much you know about Workday, and that is a very basic question because they ask you about the tenant. How many types of tenants are there? So yes, we have production, sandbox, sandbox preview, and implementation, and it will be always in your mind. Okay, you don't have to read the books and see the thing. Anyhow, like when we move forward with our course, anyhow, like you will learn everything. That all the things will be in your mind forever. So you don't have to revise it because that's a very basic thing. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So anything else related to the concept which we have covered till now? Otherwise, as I said, another 10-15 minutes I'll take and I'll explain something more about the tenant, and then we'll wind up for today and we'll connect tomorrow with a new topic. We'll cover the core concept, then we'll log into the tenant and I will explain you how you can navigate, how you can search a report, search a task, what are the things available, that we will see tomorrow once I log in. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, let's move on. And one more topic related to tenant, I'll explain it. Just give me a second. Okay, so as I said, this is how the tenant look like for every company. So when you go and work, so if they're not using SSO, you can see the similar type of page, and here might be some different logo. So right now some global modern service logo is coming, but when you're going to work for any company, your company logo will be there. Okay, let's suppose Amazon, Netflix, and all this thing. Okay, and here the username, password, your team will create it, your company administrator will create your account, and once you join the company, you will access your Workday. Okay, you just need to put the username and password and sign in. Okay, now the very important thing, the tenant which you are seeing it here, that is a GMS tenant. Okay, global modern service. You can see global modern service is written here. We call it as a GMS tenant. See, GMS is nothing but a fictitious company. Okay, we call it as a training tenant also. Obviously, I can't share a live tenant with you, right? So I can't share my company tenant with you. So we need somewhere, like some place where we can do all the configuration. We can learn, just a second. Okay, so we need some place where we do the session. So whatever the session we are doing, so obviously we need to configure. So it's not like a PPT presentation I'm just telling and you are listening. It's not like that. So we need to learn the concept, the configuration and everything. So we need some place. So this is the place, the GMS tenant. We call it as a GMS tenant, Global Modern Service. This is nothing but a fictitious company. This tenant Workday provides. Okay, this is also chargeable. This is a chargeable tenant Workday provide just for learning purpose. Okay, if you want to learn something, you can just enter, because here we have all the dummy configuration and dummy workers. So whatever the workers we have, something around 2000 workers are there in this company. Okay, so 2000 workers are there. So once we log in, we'll see that, and you just play around with the data. So there's nothing restriction here. You can play around, you can change the data, you can do the configuration and everything. Okay, so this is the place where we are going to do our configuration, the training part. Okay, Global Modern Service, in short we say the GMS. It's a fictitious company. Okay, so here that's a credential part. Here you need to put a credential. On the right side, you see something called, in page you see something called status. Okay, status is nothing like the same as I mentioned. The tenant is down every week. The same information is reflecting in all the tenant all over the world for all the customer. Okay, so if they are using Workday, the status section is there in their tenant login page, and you can see the tenant will be down for maximum of 12 hours. The next weekly service update starting on Friday, September 3rd. So September 3rd is a Friday. 6 p.m. Pacific timing until Saturday, 4th September, 6 a.m. Pacific timing. So if you are in US or something, it's like Friday evening till Saturday morning. And if you are in India, it's Saturday morning till Saturday evening. Okay, so this is information, refresh information. It's reflecting in all the tenant. And as I said, this is mostly, not mostly, this is always Friday. Okay, every Friday. So currently we are in, the current Friday is 3rd. Next week the Friday is 10th. Okay, so once like the tenant will be refreshed, the next information will be for the 10th. The tenant will be down for maximum of 12 hours for Fridays, September 10th, and so on. Okay, so this is the status information. It's reflecting in all the 10. Notice is something you can configure it as per your need. You might be, you want to give some company information or something, you can configure the things here. So I will tell you how to do that. Once we log in, there's one task, and by using that task, you can configure the things. Okay, if you want to configure something related and relevant to your company, you can just configure it here. Okay, so this is, as I said, the GMS tenant, and I'm not logging it today. I will cover that topic, the login part. So I'll use the SSO. I'll log in it, and I'll explain the navigation tomorrow. Okay, so we are winding the class today. So if you are now taking your questions, if you have any questions, you just ask me, and we'll continue our class and this topic, the core concept and basic navigation, tomorrow. Okay, so yes, any questions you have?
Hi Rahul, I have one question.
Yes.
What is the difference between advisory partner and the service partner of Workday, and the certificate which we get in those partner companies?
See, there's both. So you can receive certification from both, from partner company also and for customer also. There's a two different types of certification. So the thing is, the concept and training is same. But if you are receiving it from a customer side, they will say as a pro certification. Okay, that is only valid, your certification is valid only for that customer. Let's suppose currently I am working for Amazon. Okay, Amazon is a customer. So I can enroll myself for Workday certification. Okay, I will attend the course. You just need to tell your manager. They will raise a request and in the name support contact, and your company needs to pay some amount and you can attend the training. Once the training is done, you have given the exam, you cleared the exam, you will receive a pro certification that is valid only for your Amazon customer. Okay, now if you are moving from, let's suppose, Amazon to let's suppose Hitachi. Okay, if you're moving from Amazon to Hitachi, now you need to transfer your pro certification from Amazon to Hitachi. So you need to again, after joining the Hitachi company, you need to raise a request to Workday. I have already completed core HCM part, this particular training. Can you please move my certification to Hitachi? They will do it. But if you want to move it to partner company like IBM, Accenture, they will not consider this as a certification. Okay, because you can't move it. Customer to customer, you can move a pro certification, but you can't move from customer to partner. Okay, but in the partner company, if you're doing any type of certification, let's suppose the Workday HCM core, you will receive a certification and you can move it anywhere. Okay, you can move it to even to another partner company, you can move it to customer company. Okay, but once it's moved to customer, your certification will be now pro. It's converted to pro. Okay, so this is all about the certification difference, the pro certification and the normal partner certification. Concept is same. Whatever the training you are attending, that is also same. Only like they categorize with the name. Okay, one is pro certification, one is normal certification. That's it. Because even it's happened with me. So as I said, I started my career with a partner company. So I completed a lot of certification on the partner side. Okay, but when I switched to customer, okay, I need to move my certification, and now I have moved all my certification to pro. Okay, now if I again want to go back to partner, they will not count as a certification. I need to give attend a training and give a test and all this thing. But yes, if I am switching from customer to customer, from Amazon to Netflix to Rolls-Royce or 3M, then I don't need to give this exams again. Okay, that's actually a basic difference between this.
Yeah, understood, Rahul. And one small clarification. So there is something called advisory partners as well as implementation partners in Workday, right? For example, Accenture, IBM, Deloitte, all these companies are implementation partners. There are some other companies, they belongs to advisory partners.
It depends. There is one more, that is support also, support partner who can only support. So that's a separate category, I can say that. As you mentioned, the implementation partner who can implement for something. Advisory who can advise, like these are the ERP available and these are the sales team of that company. They will give the demo and they will give the demo to the customer and they will convince them come into the Workday system. This is a great benefit and all this thing. So they are similar thing for a support partner. So they can only support, they can't implement, like they can only support. Like Hexaware, if I take an example, Hexaware is not an implementation and advisory partner. They are just a support partner. They can support for any company. Okay, but they can't implement it. So there are many categories available. More detail I can say, you just visit the workday.com site and there you can find it in more detail what actually it means.
Yeah, thanks,
but
Rahul.
Anyhow, there's a very thin line difference. Nothing, only like some will implement, some will support, and some will do the advisory part. That's it.
Yeah, got it, Rahul. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Rahul. I am Sudhir.
Yes.
Rahul, for this certification through the partner company, don't have an expiration date, right? Just once we got certification, it's lively, right?
No, I didn't get your point. Can you repeat?
You told me certification directly, but Workday didn't give any certification, right, for learners?
No. If you are like attending a training from a Workday side, so once you like join any of the company, customer or partner company, so when you enroll for a Workday will give you a certification. Okay, right now you can't attend a Workday training because you are not in the Workday company. So let's suppose in future, if you're joining a partner company like IBM, Accenture, PwC, KPMG, then you can enroll for Workday training, and Workday will provide you a certificate.
Yeah, that certification provided by the partner company, there is no expiration date, right? Expiration date.
No, this is not expiry date. You need to upgrade your, see, if you want to come in a Workday environment, you need to time to time, you need to upgrade yourself. It's not like the old certification. Once you completed throughout your life, the certification is enabled. It's not like that. So here, every time you will receive an LMS. Similar way, like whatever the LMS I have shown you, similar way, we have a Workday LMS. Okay, and you time to time, whenever the new release, not time to time, whenever a new release come, before that new release, you need to complete the new release features, the videos will be there. You need to watch it, and some exams will be there, and you need to give that exam, multiple choice question. And once you are done, your certification will be upgraded, so it will not expire. But if you miss to complete, I guess three session, if three releases the videos, if you miss to complete, your certification will be expired.
Okay. We have to take care of ourselves before doing upgradation.
Yes, because Workday environment is like you need to keep upgrade yourself. Then only like because you need to provide advisory, as I say, to the customer, right? So you need to be keep upgraded.
Yeah. Also one question. Actually, you told me, right? This partner preferred companies without certification they don't take, right?
Mostly, I'm not saying always, but mostly yes.
Okay.
So your first preference should be customer, because we have more jobs on the customer side as compared to partner. But yes, if you have, because right now I see, I think 2 months back, there's a lot of openings in PwC. So they hiring in bulk. So that time the certification is not mandatory. So because still Workday is very new and we don't have that much resource. So when I came into this environment almost 10 to 11 years back, there's very limited resource globally. All over the world, we don't have that much resource, and like every company is implementing mostly from PeopleSoft to Workday, because the developer, the founder is same. Okay, those who like founded PeopleSoft, the same person, Dave Duffield, founded this Workday. Okay, so concept wise also, you when you like learn the concept, you will feel, if you are from PeopleSoft, then you feel like it's almost similar. So the company which earlier using PeopleSoft, now they are moving towards the Workday. Okay, so there's a lot of requirement, there's a lot of demand for Workday consultant, but still we don't have that much resource in the market.
Okay, Rahul, thank you.
Okay, yes, anything else? Okay, so thank you all. Thanks for your time, and see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.